Welcome to Prepare to Plant Online. This is Micah Dodson, and I've got my friend Bryan Halferty here with us. Welcome, Bryan.
Hey guys, good to be here.
Bryan's a church planter in Tacoma, Washington, planting a church called Anchor. And Bryan, I know that early on in your church planting process, and even in considering the idea of church planting, you went through the Prepare to Plant boot camp. I was curious, what was your
Yeah,
experience like going through that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, we brought 4 people from our team, which was really great to have a couple different people that weren't on staff, just even present with that process, and so that was helpful. But I remember being in the room with people that are skilled, have experience with church planning, people that are in the process of church planning, and getting some great training, making some good connections, having some good conversations in between sessions, and I remember the people that weren't staff people, but they were just part of our team that were there, getting insight into the kind of inner workings of church planning in a way they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. It was mission critical at a critical time in our church planning life, and I'm thankful to have had the opportunity to be there.
That's awesome. What was one thing you took away that really impacted how you guys planted Anchor?
Yeah, I remember at one point towards the end of the training, uh, we had written all these post-it notes of things we wanted to do that kind of came from our values. And then there was a shift where the trainer said, "All right, now we're sequencing. We're looking at like the first 2 or 3 years, and all these things you've written on post-it notes. You're organizing them around what stages this will happen." Or what stages this ministry will graduate into this ministry. Um, and I remember, having our group of 4 huddled around these poster boards, putting these post-it notes on 6 month, 12 or a year, 2 year, increments. And kind of one, it was mind blowing, stepping back and just looking at like, could God really do this?
Hmm.
As we're like, add a staff person here, grow the kids ministry to this, at that point it was largely a concept. So it was amazing. Like, could God really do this? And then second, I remember bringing it home to a place we were officing out of, and laying that out on our conference table, and like, just referring back to it, looking at it, bringing, kind of a new staff member on and pointing to it and say, hey, we're not doing this until that, because we're not ready yet. We have to do these things first. Here, this is kind of the plan. It's laid out. And of course, there's editing that has to happen. A post-it note moves, post-it note shifts. But I remember that being so critical, a template for people that were high-level volunteers or part of a new staff member, for us to get access to an insight to what Anchor could be and where we're going. That was very helpful for us.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad that process of walking through your timeline like that helped so much. I know that there are folks that are on watching right now that are thinking about church planting or just getting ready to plant a new church. What encouragement would you have for them?
I think the church planner psyche is kind of an independent minded psyche, largely because there's something in us that we want to see, actually exist in the world. And we haven't found it ourselves yet, right? We hunger for it. We've seen glimpses of it and maybe ministry opportunities. But for whatever reason, the thing that we desire to show up in the world that would be glorifying to God and helpful for people, we haven't tasted it fully yet. And so that's usually a sense of what the church planter, experiences. But sometimes that like psyche, that kind of like approach, posture, can have a kind of independent spirit, because the context that I was in, it didn't meet the expectations that I had. So I'm going and doing my own thing. And I would say, that independent spirit, if it keeps you from community and networks and family and denominations, becomes pretty quickly unhealthy. Unhealthy for you, unhealthy for your family, and you become under-resourced and uncared for, undercared for, really. When we came to Tacoma, we met many people that were planting. We've read Acts 2, we're going to do Acts 2, and was like, God bless you, but they're all doing it by themselves with no authority, with no resources. And so it becomes a lot of strain, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And a lot of the times it just doesn't work because there's no training, there's no resources. And so I would say the one thing I would say is, really push against that independent spirit. God has given you something that is unique to and wants it to birth and come to reality. But that doesn't mean you're kind of divorced from network and connection and family. Both of those things can be held together.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryan. Thanks so much for sharing, and thanks for being a part of Prepare to Plant Online. Again, just hope that you can glean from this recording and learn a lot through this experience. So